Okay, today we are playing a game on Volskaya Industries. We are in the Gold SR range, and we'll be playing Reinhardt the entire way through. And there's nothing else to say, let's just start the game. So, let's turn the sound on also, that would be helpful, I feel. That's too loud for me. So, defending first, Volskaya. The first checkpoint's kind of annoying to defend, because, you know... As far as choke points go, Volskaya is not the best one, what with this giant fucking truck kind of obscuring half the choke point. But, that's also what makes it tolerable at the same time. You know what I mean? Because, look, Hanamura can just go fuck itself, to be frank with you. So, they don't have a team that's especially good at breaking barriers, which is fantastic news for us. Someone is continually contesting the point behind us. It's most likely Genji. And that's not for us to deal with. That's not our problem. We'll just kind of hope that somebody else resolves that problem while we're over here worrying about this. Doomfist is dead. Where the fuck did Doomfist even die? Was he out there? Oh, he's over there. Okay, there he is. His dead body flopped in front of the choke point and I didn't notice it. Either way, they're not making great progress getting through the door. We could have bonked Toes a little bit more during this, because he gets, like, real up in our grill, and he's got Discord Orb on him. We got to kill Hanzo, which is fun in and of itself, but we could have tried to go a little bit harder on the Toes as well. Now there's a Moira behind us sipping us, which is interesting. Things getting a little spooky, but Zen just used trance, and now... Oh, he's unhappy about that. Hammond's coming in to have a good time, and he just got fucking pinned out of nowhere. I'm fine with the Earth Shadow. We killed both their supports. Maybe didn't need to use it. The fight was already turning by that point. They'd already lost somebody. We just pinned Hammond, so he lost half his health, so we probably could have saved the Earth Shatter, but at the same time, look, it charges really fast, and if you can kill 2 supports with it, that's a fine use of company resources. So we are getting shot in the back, but they're also trying to come through the door. We don't necessarily need to worry too much. Like, this is the kind of circumstance where you can just kind of turn around and bonk at the people behind you, because there isn't too much coming through the choke point at us, basically. The only one for us to be a bit concerned about is Hanzo, being as he's the only real long-range damage on their team. I believe we were trying to pin Genji, because Genji just used Dragon Blade. No, we were trying to pin Hammond, actually, I think. Or maybe we were just trying to get the fuck out of the way. Which would also be understandable, but if the idea is just to get the fuck out of the way, we're better off going backwards towards the point, you know, sort of trying to consolidate with the team rather than just going off in that direction. But Genji killed 3 people with Dragon Blade, so the fight was done, so we jump in the pool so we don't feed them any ult charge, as is correct in the circumstance. So Genji's kind of being a problem. We would be justified in this instance in changing to Winston, because Winston is good versus both of their DPS. They don't have a fantastic main tank, because they've got Hammond and Sigma. Hammond can be a main tank, but this guy's not playing him as if he was a very good main tank, so it's irrelevant. Genji's been behind us, fucking with us a lot. You know, they don't have a lot of damage that's just gonna get thrown in. There's not a huge amount to block, so changing to Winston would be a justified action in this circumstance. I don't blame you either for staying on Reinhardt. I think that's fine, but it is something to think about. We tried to pin Hammond as he was coming in. We ended up actually just pinning Toes, which is better overall, probably, seeing as he's easier to kill than Hammond is, but didn't really end up paying huge dividends there. So we couldn't back up because there were mines in the way, but it's alright, we didn't have to back up. This use of Earth Shatter was definitely too much. We were definitely winning that fight. It was that's an Earth Shatter just to upset the enemy support players, basically. Because we were winning that fight. That fight was going way too badly for them at that point. Even with all the mines behind us. We were big, they'd lost their DPS, it wasn't going to work out. They were scattering, Toes was going off by himself. They weren't winning that fight. So we're trying to pin him as he slams down. We missed it. Unfortunate. He still died regardless. We should have tried to get the Mercy right there. Again, they don't have a lot of damage that just comes through the block. They actually have Reaper now, so they have even less. This would make changing to Winston worse, of course. But they have even less damage coming through the front at us now. It's basically just toes. So we could have immediately just took the shield down and started swinging at Mercy with basically no fear of recompense, because all they have for long-range damage now is toes. Tried to pin Reaper, it didn't work out. He's low health, he's running. He's dead. It's all good. So, Hammond's up to no good for either team, as it would happen right there. Hammond's... You know, he's playing Hammond, I guess. So, he's got a Genji over there. He's throwing shurikens in. Normally, you don't want to hold your shield up for that kind of trash damage, because you want to save your shield for more actual damage when they start pushing in. But considering Genji's kind of it, we might as well block it just to stop him from getting any ult charge at all while they're regrouping. Because they haven't got any, like, real long-range damage for us to block. Anyway. So we're... Genji is behind us? No, he's up top above us. Well, I mean, he is behind us, but he's not somewhere we can realistically do anything to him. Toes is just trying to push his way in. Now Genji's using Dragon Blade. Just try and run the Genji down. It looked like we changed to the Hammond, because we saw Genji in there briefly. Like, just try and get that guy. Yeah, like, just immediately pivot and just try and chase after the Genji as much as you can. Pinning him would be cool, but I mean, really, you can just chase the Genji down and beat him, you know. Pinning Genji while he's using Dragon Blade is, fairly difficult unless you go for the big read. Usually better to just chase after him and beat him to death. Unless he looks like he's about to do something real fucking predictable, you know. So hey, look, fight's still going well in our absence. There goes Hammond. Let's get the mines out of the way. And they used a lot of ultimates to not capture the point while they only have a minute and a half left. So this is tremendous news for us. He's already dead before we could even pin him. That's how badly he got fucked there. Their Hammond's doing them no favors is the summation of this one. So we may as well go back to help with that, because again, there's not really much for us to block. We may as well go back and just try and help beat the Reaper to death, or like block the Reaper from whoever he's hitting. Reaper just changed to Soldier, so now we go back to blocking the front, because Soldier is good long-range damage. Which, Reaper, you know, he's a hit scan hero, but he's not one that really does great at long range. You feel me? You feel me? So anyway, we've got Earth Shatter coming up. They're only really going to get one good fight at this point, so this Earth Shatter alone is probably going to be enough to win the fight. And then we've got a bunch of other ultimates behind us as well. They're kind of coming in with not a lot. This Earth Shatter could have been better. Only the toes that we ended up not killing could be better, you know. Probably don't need to belabor the point on that one too much. Better saving it for a better opportunity. That's a little upsetting we didn't pin him, isn't it? You know what, that's a little on the upsetting side. That's one of those pins, you know? You know? You know what I mean? You know, it's a little upsetting, isn't it? There is nothing for us to do with this nano boost. We can try and chase toes down. Hey, we didn't block the rock. If we blocked the rock, we probably killed that guy. He died anyway. It didn't matter. Never mind. That was not a good use of nano boost. There was like nothing for us to do with that nano boost. Might as well try. You can of course just hop over us, but you might as well try in the circumstance. My man trying to promote himself in the general chat at the time. You know, probably, so this side of the video you might notice is real fucking short. So, hey, probably get a rough idea of how it's gonna go. Of course they're just running the same team. This is now significantly worse for them. So, you can sometimes get away with running a bad tank comp on attack, because the enemy can just be bad at defending. But if you play like a bad combo of tanks on defense, it is almost impossible to hold the enemy team back because you're simply not capable of actually controlling any space, which is kind of important when you're the defending team. So, going with the Sigma Hammond strat on defense, less good unless both of those players are actual gods. We're in gold, so, you know. It's one of those circumstances where one team just having a Reinhardt is a big advantage over the other team. Now, this went quite badly, of course. We're just sort of running into them, taking a bunch of damage right there. Hammond's behind us, we don't really care about that, that's all fair enough. It's just that we kinda run full tilt into them and take a bunch of damage before we're in a position to actually start swinging at them. That's the position where you just hold the shield up and you just walk at them, pretty much, and then you start swinging once you're actually in them. They have a team comp that is terrible at holding ground. They're not that good at breaking shields because they only really have Soldier as far as that's concerned. Just like whichever side of the choke point they're on, pretty much, you can just walk at them and then pick a fight with them. Because their team comp is not suited to standing up to us in a brawl. We don't need to, like, really cut line of sight to them and go around the other side. We could just, like, if they're on the right side to us right now, we could just come around the corner on them and then just immediately start fighting them. Because they're not the kind of brawly team comp. They'd end up having to scatter and run away from us. Soldier's all the way over here by himself, going with this classic strat, of course, of also putting Biotic Field down and then immediately running away from it, thereby it being completely useless to him. So their team's real split up right now. Again, we didn't block the rock, which is less than ideal. It's good that we pinned him, because otherwise this was probably going to be real fucking bad. That was a very brave a very brave charge for the circumstance, because we're already half health and we're about to charge into a lot of boys. So it's good that he just let us pin him, to be honest. But hey, to be fair, we were really close, so he had less time to react to it. But it's still going badly, because Genji's doing that right now. Basically, just try and show a little bit more self-restraint with, like, picking these fights. They can't stand up to us in a one-to-one fight, so we would have also been justified changing to Winston versus this team comp. You know, easy to bully around as Winston team comp. I say again because that guy just changed to Winston. So, like, this isn't the kind of team comp where you need, like, a really big flashy engage, right? Like, you don't need to do anything fancy. When the enemy team is one that doesn't have a very strong front line, which, if the enemy team is lacking a main tank and one of their DPS is Genji, they lack a strong front line. And they don't have a lot of shield break either. In that circumstance, the best thing you can do is really just walk at them holding your shield up, because they're not going to have the kind of presence necessary to slow you down. And then once you get to them, you start swinging at them. You really don't need to do anything fancier than that. They're not running like a Reinhardt as well, where we maybe need to try and catch somebody to really get the engage. They don't have the kind of presence necessary to hold us back, so we could just walk at them. We're getting a little bit too excited about it. Ideally, our Zenyatta would also be Lucio, because this is the kind of circumstance where if you have a speed boost on your team, you're just going to roll straight over them, because they just don't have that kind of comp necessary to fight it out with you. So we've got Earth Shatter built up. There was a point we could have gone for it, like, right here, to be honest with you, because we catch Toes, that's like their one dead, their one maybe main tank dead. We probably catch the Mercy as well. Maybe we miss her, and Moira was actually jumping down, so we would have probably caught her as well. But just on the face of it, it looked likely to get Toes and Mercy. Even just Toes would have probably been good enough by itself, really. But probably also catches Mercy. Moira got real excited. Their only other healer is Mercy. I Earth Shatter just this Moira. It doesn't matter if I get anybody else with this Earth Shatter, I consider the Moira to be worth it because their only other healer is Mercy and they don't have any ults to hold us back right now. We also could have maybe caught that Genji, and maybe the Soldier also, if we angle it right. Because if we just stand a little bit more forward, like here, and we angle it sort of, you know, I don't have my pen installed, but like thusly, you know, we maybe catch the Genji and the Soldier as well, but I really would ult just this Moira. She's their main healer. Their only other healer is Mercy. That's probably enough to win the fight. Especially while they're currently lacking many ultimates. The minefield would slow us down a little bit, of course, but just killing their main healer, I'm down with that. The Earth Shadow we got was, of course, fine. We ended up getting the Toes and the Mercy in the end anyway. Only Toes died. We missed Mercy with the pin. We were likely going for Toes, but Toes actually died before it was even necessary. So the first Earth Shatter ended up happening in the end anyway. It just happened a little bit later on. So now we can't lose anymore. Fantastic news. We got 4 minutes to grind against them, and we can never lose from this position. We can only fail to win, which you know. So, Hammond just fed behind us. Fantastic news. Again, we're low health right now. Wait till you're actually on them before you start swinging at them. Doesn't matter anymore. They just lost half their team comp. So, Hammond actually got minefield up again, so good job there. Zen might as well use it to his Transcendence to clear out the minefield right now. Looks like we're winning this fight regardless of what happens, you know. And so, hey, we end up winning there in the end. So, the moral of the story on this one is basically, like, try and leverage more when when the enemy team is lacking a strong front line. Like, if one of their DPS is like a flanker, like a Tracer, a Genji, a Sombra, this just inherently weakens their front line, which is not such a big deal when you're on the attacking team, but is a much bigger deal when you're on the defending team. When they have a flanker defending, they give up a lot of presence. So if then their tank line is also bad, like they're running Hammond Sigma, or they're running Roadhog Zarya, you know, they're running D.Va Zarya, and they've got a flanker, their front line is terrible. It's awful. It can't hold you back. If you're playing Rein, just hold your shield and W. And they're going to be, like, really bad at breaking your shield. If they have a Roadhog, they'll be better at it, but they still, again, lack this strong front line because they're lacking the main tank. You just hold W and right-click. You don't really need to do anything more, because you're just trying to take space away from them and they can't physically stop you. This is, of course, based on the assumption that you have, like, a decent team comp as well. If your team comp is also really terrible, like if your team comp is like you've got Hammond and then 2 flankers as your DPS, you're also lacking a front line, so you lack the presence necessary to just walk at them. If you've got like Mercy Zenyatta, Mercy Lucio, this will also be a little bit harder because you're lacking healing, so you might, if your engage is slow and you have low healing, this also puts you at a disadvantage, so it's a little team comp dependent as well on your end, but try and just take space away from them. You don't need to get super excited when you're playing against that kind of team comp. You can just play really slow and grind them down and they can't stop you. Yeah, so thank you very much for watching. If you did, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. I'm more than happy to answer. If you haven't already, you can join our Discord and ask questions more directly and have a conversation about them, or just shitpost with us. I start streaming on Twitch Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, 8 p.m. EST to 11 EST. No, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 8 p.m. EST to 11 EST. There's a link to the channel in the description. If you managed to make it all the way through the video and somehow still enjoyed it, please like the video and subscribe for more content of middling quality in the future. And I hope you found the video helpful.